Thank you for coming to our program tonight. It's titled 8 Dimensions of Wellness. My name is Tonya Misselt. I'm the director here of the River Falls Public Library. Our format tonight is in person, it's live virtually, and it is also recorded for later viewing. I'm super excited tonight because it's actually our kickoff program for a winter wellness series and a luminous game for adults. The Winter Wellness Series, it is not a New Year's resolution. It is not a diet. It is not a behavior modification program that has some underlying guilt trip behind it. It is intended as a creative opportunity for the community to go on a wellness journey with us to discover some deeper meaning to wellness and learn new tools to build balance of wellness in our lives. It is intended to be a fun journey of exploration. If you want to participate, the game board is located above the hold shelves on the main level. The game board is embedded in our program brochure for the winter, and this is our adult program brochure. It's got all of our winter programs here, which are directly related to our game. If you open that up, there is our winter wellness game. This is not a bingo sheet. You do not have to create a line of X's or a diagonal. Every time you do one of these activities, you get either 1 or 2 stamps or tickets to enter into amazing prize drawings. Even if you just register for the game, there's a bunch of registration forms upstairs. Also on the hold desk, they're multicolors. You just need to do one and put that in a little box. It's clearly indicated upstairs. And if you do that, you're entering to win a registration prize of a Fitbit Versa 4 and a $50 chamber bucks. These prizes are all paid for by the foundation, not your tax dollars, and they are way cool. I'm just saying. So now I want to welcome our speaker tonight, Tonya Schmitt. She is Tonya with an O. I'm Tonya with an A. Tonya is the owner and coach of Mindful Soul Solutions. You pronounce it Solutions? Here in River Falls. She has 14 years of experience in mindful health and wellness and has earned numerous certifications in wellness, yoga therapy, and fitness. Tonya specializes in work with clients and participants suffering from anxiety, depression, trauma, and ADD. With a foundation of an undergraduate degree in biology and a Master of Education degree in life science, Tonya respectfully meets clients wherever they are, introducing them to a multitude of tools, practices for wellness. Through the combined application of biology, neuroscience, and ancient traditional wisdom, she empowers clients and participants to travel through their own unique wellness journey. Please welcome Tonya Schmitt.
All right. Thank you, Tonya.
Just that.
I'm a lot shorter than she is. Okay. Thank you, Tonya with an A, and thank you, River Falls Public Library. And thank you, everybody, for participating in whatever way that you are. So we have some handouts for today. There's a one-pager that we're going to start with. There's also a whole packet. These are things that are put out from SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. And I just want to say a little bit more about my work. So I help others through mindful coaching for health and wellness that involves yoga therapy. And I do this through the comprehensive community services programs, schools, nonprofits, working with individuals. And my mission is empowering positive personal and professional shifts through mindful coaching. And for tonight, as I go through the 8 dimensions, I will share with you a possibly whole new way to look at wellness. And from there, I think we can go ahead and go to our one-page handout that Kim so wonderfully already has up on the screen. And I want to go through and read just the short statement for each of the dimensions. And I have someone in the audience who is willing to help me with some of the reading. Diane, are you okay with reading a few of those? And then if you want to read them all, you can read them all, or I can read it. Wherever you stop, I'll jump in. How about that?
You want me to start at the top?
Sure.
Okay. So emotional, coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships.
Should I bring it? Okay, hold on. Sorry, my bad.
No, I'll get you another one.
Oh, we're waiting for another microphone. My mistake. So I'll just keep going. Okay. All right. Emotional, coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships. Financial, satisfaction with current and future financial situations. Social, developing a sense of connection, belonging, and a well-developed support system. Spiritual, expanding our sense of purpose and meaning in life. Occupational, personal satisfaction and enrichment derived from one's work. And physical, recognizing the need for physical activity, diet, sleep, and nutrition.
Okay. Intellectual, recognizing creative abilities and finding ways to expand knowledge and skills. Environmental, good health by occupying pleasant, stimulating environments that support well-being.
Awesome. Thank you. And Diane will be helping me out with reading at different times so that you can hear more than one person talking, which makes things a little more interesting. So we are going to turn to the full packet, and we're going to go right away to page 3 in it, where it says, "What is wellness?" And Diane, would you be willing to read the first couple paragraphs? Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. What is wellness? Wellness is a broad concept. In this guide, we attempt to provide a broad yet specific sense of what it means. We invite you to think of wellness as meaning, being healthy in many dimensions of our lives. That includes the emotional, physical, occupational, intellectual, financial, social, environmental, and spiritual parts. These dimensions are interconnected, one dimension building on another. We also recognize that we live in a multicultural world, and wellness encompasses areas that may not be specified in this brief discussion. We believe, for example, that trauma is a universal human experience, and that our culture and spiritual beliefs impact our perceptions and everything we do. In summary, wellness is about how we live our lives and the joy and fulfillment and health we experience.
Thank you. When we worry about money, for example, debt or being able to afford what we need, we sometimes experience anxiety, emotional. This can lead to medical problems, physical, and trouble at work, occupational. When this happens, we may even question our own sense of meaning and purpose, spiritual. At the same time, when we are not working, occupational, we may lose opportunities to interact with others, social, and we may not be able to afford the good food and medical care we need to stay well, physical. We may even need to move our home to a place that feels less safe and secure, environmental. So we get an idea of how really interconnected everything is. From here, when we move forward in the packet, we're moving to page 7. I'm going to take a little detour from that for a moment, though. So this is going to be a quick, shallow dive into each of these dimensions of wellness. And I invite you to do some deep diving as you go forward after this presentation for follow-up work. Know that it is crucial to stretch your comfort zone in order to grow in wellness. This is vital, challenging, and rewarding work. No positive change happens without releasing the old unhealthy patterns or habits and replacing them with new healthy patterns or habits. I will share some thoughts on each of the dimensions. And after we go through each dimension, we will take a bit of time for any comments or questions that may be out there, and for you to respectfully put out whatever you're thinking. And just be aware that for each dimension, there is a front and back side. So the front side, as you can see on the screen here, has a variety of information to read, to look over. And then on the back side of it, there's a table for you to work on. And you can start on it today and then continue going forward. Right, so let's turn to the physical dimension. You okay reading that, Diane? In the packet on page 7, that first paragraph. It's on at the top. It says improving our physical wellness.
Improving our physical wellness, a healthy body, good physical health habits, nutrition, exercise, and appropriate health care. These make up the physical dimension of wellness. A few ways we can get there might be choosing things that make our body feel good and trimming back the things that bring us down. We can also feel better by creating a routine that balances activity with inactivity and that is manageable within our obligations and needs. Our body is intelligent, and learning to listen to it more deeply may be very important and empowering.
Nothing to work on here, right? It's all under control. So I want to repeat that last statement. Our body is intelligent, and learning to listen to it more deeply may be very important and empowering. A significant problem in our society is that we do not value listening to our bodies, but actually consider this, what's the technical term? Woo-woo, I think. At the heart of my work is helping people learn how to do this, and they do get healthier for it. So if we take a look at that table in nutrition, it asks the question right away, do you have access to fresh, healthy food? There's a lot in this. Not all produce is grown for nutrition. Other factors such as aesthetics, durability, and transportation and profit margin are involved. Community accessibility of healthy food is a factor. And finally, individual choice is involved, and it's really hard in the context of the other two. From a car perspective, bad fuel means a car won't run well or possibly at all. And the same is true for humans. When bad fuel is poured in daily, multiple times a day, year after year, our bodies manifest countless lifestyle diseases that are not normal aging. They are not normal aging. Take a look at physical activity for a moment, please. It says in there, making it fun. This is crucial. You're more likely to do it if you enjoy it. And also, under sleep, it talks about avoiding screen time before bed. Okay, screens are so addictive, and the negative consequences of how they affect sleep and other aspects of our lives are also very, very real. So I'm going to leave some time for you to please take a moment and scan through the chart and go ahead and highlight any areas that stick out for you. Also, keep in mind that this is a general list for the whole population of the US. So some of the lists that we're going to look at as we go through this might seem less helpful for you than others. Some might seem really helpful. So if one of the charts doesn't offer very much, please use it as a springboard for what does fit for you. As we go through this, ask yourself, how am I doing well? How can I improve my physical health? And then you have the invitation, if you'd like, to start making notes on the back side of that page. Start jotting down some ideas. And so I'm going to leave a little bit of time for that. Do we have anything in the virtual realm? No? Okay. So I'm just going to leave a little bit of time for that, and then we'll move on to the next one so we have time to get through all of them. All right, I think I'm going to start moving on. So I'm curious if anybody has anything that you want to share or point out that sticks out to you. What was it?
That will work on?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
okay.
that you're doing well at, right? We want to do both. We want to call out where we're doing well and, okay, this is an area for me to work on, and I can do that.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I do feel that I do well with sleep. I've always made sleep a priority.
And a lot
so
of people don't, right?
Yeah.
That's huge.
I've always made that a priority. But one thing I highlighted is improving your diet by setting small goals. So I could think of some goals,
Yeah.
small goals.
Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and turn to improving our intellectual wellness, which is on page 9 of the packet. Diane, how do you feel about reading? All right. I'm gonna give you the paragraphs at the top of each, so people don't only have to hear me.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Improving our intellectual wellness. The intellectual wellness dimension involves many things that keep our brains active and our intellect expanding. In a broad sense, this dimension can involve looking at different perspectives of an issue and taking them into consideration. Through a number of activities, from learning about current events to organizing game nights in your home or community center, you can broaden your perspective and understand diverse points of view.
Thank you for that. Let's focus on that last part of that statement. You can broaden your perspective and understand diverse points of view. I think it's fair to say that there is room in our society to practice this skill, and we will benefit greatly from practicing it. In my work, I also invest a fair amount of energy in helping others see multiple perspectives. If we take a look at that table under personal interests, it mentions social media. And I just want to talk a tiny bit about that. So while there can indeed be positive connections via social media, the reality is that there are some big pitfalls. And I want us to remember that in-person positive social connection synergizes the benefits of that connection. In brain exercise, it mentions current affairs. Just a quick statement here. Please remember the importance of using reputable sources. And then, once again, I'm inviting you to please look through the table and mark any areas that seem worthy of your attention. and or adjust the chart for your needs, and the same questions. How am I doing well? How can I improve my intellectual wellness? I want to add that in looking at all of these dimension charts over, if there is one or more area where you cringe or think, no way, there's a very good chance that this is exactly where you need to do the most work. In return, you will receive the most benefits. So go ahead and take a little bit of time to look it over, and then I will open it up again. Okay, perfect. Okay, are we ready to do that? Okay, so I'm taking it to the audience again to do a little bit of sharing here.
So this is Tonya, the library director, and I'm looking at this list, and you may be surprised to learn that I actually have to work very hard on getting away from technology. So I have always about 3 books on my nightstand that I want to read, and yet I seem to continue to go to my phone to read the news or be on Facebook, and it is a huge problem for me. So definitely an addiction issue, and I've actually found some really cool books on that, but I'll have them out on display at the library. But yeah, I think this is a significant issue for the world we live in right now, and I'm certainly part of that.
Thank you for that. Yeah, and we have another comment that it's so hard, and it is. It's so real. And when we can get real about this stuff, instead of looking at it from a like shameful kind of way, it's like, oh yeah, it's something I struggle with, and that makes it empowering to do the work. And that's how we get well or move forward on the journey, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and turn to financial wellness on page 11, please.
Improving our financial wellness. There are many definitions of what constitutes being financially well, but overall, the financial wellness dimension involves things such as income, debt, and savings, as well as a person's understanding of financial processes and resources. A person's satisfaction with their current financial situation and future prospects also come into play.
Thank you. Okay, so I want to add to this statement that we live in a profit-driven society, and there is a lot of intentional pressure and judgment put on us regarding how much we earn, how much we spend, and how much stuff we have. And this measurement is incredibly unhealthy and has far-reaching negative consequences. So I want to do a shout out for River Falls Public Library and all libraries because they offer a tremendous amount of resources for all of us, regardless of our income level. So, yay. Thank you. And thank you for doing this. And I want to touch briefly on something called social determinants of health, which you may or may not have heard of before. The exact wording for these I pulled from health.gov. So that's economic stability, education access and quality, healthcare access and quality, neighborhood and built environment, social and community context. And I want to go a little further with this. While having greater wealth clearly removes some barriers, more money does not guarantee wellness. How that money is spent can increase or decrease an individual's wellness. And also, I'm going to put out the invitation. If you have the means, you can use your wealth to improve wellness for others. So, please take a look again with those same questions in mind and ask yourself, how am I doing well? How can I improve my financial wellness? and then any sharing that may take place. Okay, so we have a little bit of sharing.
Okay, so when I was in my 30s, I left my prior job to stay home with my 2 little boys for about 7 years. And I distinctly remember living on one income and how difficult it was and how stressful it was to try to live on that one income. Now I'm in my 50s, my husband and I both work, there's no financial problems, but I reflect on those years and I go, wow, that was really stressful. And more recently, as I've been studying how to put together this wellness game for everybody, we have a financial presenter coming in. I've looked at some games online that are sort of similar, but not exactly. Anyway, one of the suggestions was, living in this consumer world that we live in, just to take a minute and think about how many hours you have to work to have that one item that maybe you don't need. And once you do the calculation, it really makes you think. For example, I just recently broke our disposal and I didn't operate it properly. It cost $500 to bring somebody out to fix that. And I thought, we did fix it. But I'm thinking, do we really need a disposal? So how many hours does it take to fix that?
Yeah.
And it's just this thought process that you go through in order to try to think differently about your money. So
Yeah.
that's what I've learned.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that we'll get to emotional later, but I think that our culture, Western culture, is so unaware of emotional health. And the answer in our culture is more stuff instead of really what people need is connectivity, and having things available like this that are of no cost and allow you to get out, connect, and learn. I mean, especially like during the winter, it's a way to keep your health, your mental and emotional health.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks to both of you for sharing that. So we're going to turn to environmental wellness, which is on page 13. Yeah. Do you want to read it?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Improving our environmental wellness. The environmental wellness dimension involves being able to be safe and feel safe. This can include accessing clean air, food, and water, preserving the areas where we live, learn, and work, occupying pleasant, stimulating environments that support our well-being and promote learning, contemplation, and relaxation in natural places and spaces.
Thank you for that. These 4 bullet points say a lot. In regard to accessing clean air, food, and water, this one implies both individual accountability and social pressure on the government and corporations for their accountability. As for promoting learning, contemplation, and relaxation in natural places and spaces, this is an area where many people suffer. Research tells us the benefits of connecting with nature, but many of us see this area as a nice little extra, an add-on, rather than a crucial aspect of wellness. Also, because natural areas typically aren't connected to a source of revenue, they are often undervalued and underfunded. many natural resources are suffering because of this. So I do want to give a couple of opportunities for local participation and action. So EarthFest is going to take place right here in River Falls at Glen Park on Earth Day, which is on April 22nd. And there will be many sustainability activities for all ages that day and programs going forward for several months after that and the surrounding area. And I do have save the date cards here. And I believe that a link is going out right now for online folks. And I am happy to say that I am part of the EarthFest Planning Committee, as is Kim, who is also here. So we love being involved in this. Another wonderful nonprofit that I am a part of is Grow to Share. And the mission of Grow to Share is to facilitate a volunteer-based collaborative garden, promote experiential learning, foster a healthy community, and share the harvest. And the vision is to cultivate healthy lifestyles in collaboration with local organizations. Efforts include promoting hunger relief, increasing access to fresh, sustainably grown produce, hands-on food education, and volunteer opportunities. And that's growtoshare.org if you want to check it out more. And there is a Facebook page for Grow to Share too. And Grow to Share engenders most of the 8 dimensions, and I am happy to say that it is a big part of my wellness. And Diane, who is here, is also a part of Grow to Share. So again, take a look, please, at the chart. Look it over. How am I doing well? How can I improve my environmental wellness? And open it up if there are any comments then. Thank you.
Tonya, I can make a comment. For green living, I would at some point like to put solar panels on my house, maybe in the next year or two. So we'll see about that. Otherwise, there's lots of good ideas in here, going outdoors, trying to unsubscribe from mail that's clutter, which takes a lot of time, just trying to get off the list for those sort of things. One thing I probably could do better is I could have more environmentally friendly cleaning products. So that's something I could do. So lots of good suggestions here.
Nice. Thank you, Kim. Okay. Are we good? Okay. Let's go ahead and move to the spiritual wellness dimension on page 15.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's a big area I'm working on, is my environmental awareness.
Thank you.
Okay. Improving our spiritual wellness. The spiritual wellness dimension is a broad concept that represents one's personal beliefs and values and involves having meaning, purpose, and a sense of balance and peace. It includes recognizing our search for meaning and purpose in human existence and developing an appreciation for life and the natural forces that exist in the universe.
Wow. There isn't a whole lot of words on here, but there's a whole lot in this one. Let's center for a bit on having meaning, purpose, and a sense of balance and peace. The pressures of our society that I've already named, in combination with many more, tend to leave us in a sort of mechanistic, nose to the grindstone mode of operation. The result of this is that many of us may lack meaning, purpose, balance, and peace in our lives. Instead, we may feel unbalanced, stressed, and as if we are endlessly running in the hamster wheel. When we intentionally pause to give ourselves space and step outside of this mechanistic operation, we can connect with whatever has meaning for each of us. So some key points here from the chart. It mentions learning about and respecting other religions and belief systems, being part of a community to deepen spiritual practice, helping others in need, meditating/reflecting on your spirituality, and appreciating the beauty of nature. So I'm going to give you another moment to take a look. How am I doing well? How can I improve my spiritual wellness? And do we have anyone who would like to share? This one is one that I think most of us don't even think about in terms of wellness.
So, okay, so this spiritual wellness is also for those who are have more secularist beliefs. It is also secularist wellness. So, in your secular world, are you applying your belief systems in a meaningful way in your life? And that is just as important for me to state here as anything else. But I would say, I'm going to say that this is one of my strong points. I am very centered with my beliefs, but as a librarian, I'm very proud of the professional values of librarians, which is to create an environment that is open and
Mhm.
welcoming
Mhm.
and provide material from a range of different opinions and and political views, religious beliefs. We encourage people to explore all those things. And I do have a willingness to stay open-minded myself with things. One of the things that I need to work on is taking the time to be mindful of where I'm at, to express gratitude statements, and noted on the bottom is to be present in nature when possible. I'm always happiest, I think, when I'm at our cabin. And remembering to do these things is something that I wish I could do more of or
Yeah.
did do more of.
Yeah, thanks for sharing all of that. So there's a lot in there. So back to yay libraries, right? Thank you. And sometimes, too often, I think a lot of people in our society think about wellness like you have to go take a big vacation or something, right? Like you have to do something big. And through these 8 dimensions, it helps us to remember small ways that we can incorporate wellness from each of these lenses, each of these dimensions throughout our day. And it's perfect to call out where you're doing a great job and to go, okay, so I do a great job when I'm at my cabin. How can I bring an element of some nature into my day each day, right? For example, right? So that's beautiful. I don't know. Do you have anything over here too?
Just taking time each day to reflect,
Yeah.
that's making that a priority, keeping it in the forefront, I guess.
Yeah, it takes work, and it's work worth doing. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so let's turn to page 17 for social wellness.
Improving our social wellness. The social wellness dimension involves having healthy relationships with friends, family, and the community, and having an interest in and concern for the need of others and humankind.
Awesome. Thank you. So this one is so short that I will repeat most of it. Having healthy relationships with friends, family, and the community, and having an interest and concern for the needs of others and humankind. It can be hard to have healthy relationships within our own families. That takes ongoing effort. This statement asks us to go beyond this regarding the needs of others and humankind. There's a pretty direct connection between this statement and the spiritual wellness statement. We need each other. We heal and thrive in healthy community. And the aspects, the dimensions, each of these overlap with each other, interconnect. So taking a look at the chart where it says community and new people, I want to be real about much of social life in Wisconsin. Please note that nowhere does it say to binge drink. It also doesn't include smoking or vaping. Sorry. It does suggest other options such as art galleries, historic sites, support groups, and volunteering. I am not telling you to stop any particular activities. I am asking you to be honest with yourself regarding your choices of social activity. I also ask you to give yourself credit for the healthy choices that you're already making and invite you to start making some small improvements wherever it makes sense for you. So take a little more look at the table with the question, how am I doing well? And how can I improve my social wellness? And then any thoughts, sharing that anybody has, please.
Tonya, I can share a few things.
Awesome. Thank you.
I think one thing a lot of people have gotten away from after COVID is just going out to do things, going to library programs, going to museums, going to sporting events, going to concerts, going to plays, and it feels really weird. I went to my first ever wild game last week, and it just felt really weird to be with 19,000 other people. But it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. So I think I just have to get back in the habit of going to more events. I think we just want to stay home and put our PJs on and relax instead of going to the event. And another thing I could definitely do better on is calling my friends that I don't get to see as much. So I just have to set aside time to call friends and just touch base, even for 15 minutes.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and these are simple and powerful steps that we can do. All right. Anything else? Okay. So let's go ahead and turn to page 19 then for occupational wellness. It's really short. No, it's all good.
Improving our occupational wellness. The occupational wellness dimension involves participating in activities that provide meaning and purpose and reflect personal values, interests, and beliefs, including employment.
Awesome. Thanks. So I'm going to repeat most of this one too. Participating in activities that provide meaning and purpose and reflect personal values, interests, and beliefs, including employment. It's interesting that it doesn't refer only to employment, which is how I think most of us tend to think of the term occupational. So some key points that I want to call out from here. It mentions career or volunteer work that fits your values, leisure activities, nature walks, massages, volunteer work gets mentioned again, and sense of accomplishment and pride in work. It's pretty neat to have the opportunity to explore occupational wellness from these less thought of points. And as you look this chart over, notice the connections to the other dimensions of wellness, such as environmental and spiritual. And remember to ask yourself, how am I doing well? How can I improve my occupational wellness? And then any thoughts or comments, questions that people have.
I will say under balance, you know, more than just hours of working, because most people have to work a full-time job, to support themselves. But then balancing that with things that you enjoy. So, because you're working a large chunk of your life, and so that you feel like there is a balance between things, getting enjoyment from the things you do, and then the things that you have to do.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you for sharing that. And I would add to this, for the things that we have to do, whether they're related to the occupational dimension or to another dimension, when we can do the things that we have to do with a spirit of gratitude or respect, that puts it in a different place in our bodies in terms of wellness, instead of that nose to the grindstone way. So how we do things can make a big difference too. Any other thoughts? Okay, we're going to keep on going then. We're going to turn to emotional wellness on page 21, please.
Improving our emotional wellness. The emotional wellness dimension involves the ability to express feelings, adjust to emotional challenges, cope with life stressors, and enjoy life. It includes knowing our strength as well as what we want to get better at, and living and working on our own, but letting others help us from time to time.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, so this is the last one. Let's pay attention to the ability to express feelings, adjust to emotional challenges, cope with life stressors, and enjoy life. Easy peasy, right? Maybe not. This is the essence of resilience. We hear a lot about that word. And even going beyond resilience to thriving in this world. There are lots of tools to help us do these things. And introducing these tools to people is a huge part of what I do. And so even though this is one of the shorter tables, there are so many key points in here, and I'm going to call out some of them. Acknowledge feelings without judgment. Reflect on your emotions and what they have to teach you. Viewing challenges as opportunities for growth. Coping strategies for stress. Please remember that all of these things take practice. Remember, how am I doing well? How can I improve my emotional wellness? I am also going to not so slyly point out that it says, have you tried yoga, breathing, or meditation to remain calm and centered? Okay, so take a look, please, and then we can share a little. All right, we're ready? Okay.
Sure, I'm going to put myself out there on this one. You just made me aware of a really bad habit. So when I was growing up, my father was a sociology professor, and every evening when the news would come on, the 5 o'clock news, it wasn't 24/7 news, it was 5 o'clock news, we would all sit at the table and watch the news. We did not have family discussions. We watched the news and watched our father pound on the table. So when I had children of my own, I was very aware of that, and I made sure that we sat around the table and talked. But now that my kids are not at home anymore, I'm reflecting on the fact that I usually eat dinner with my husband in front of the news
Okay.
or in front of my phone reading the news.
Sure.
And I am going to pledge to do better on that now.
Thank you for sharing that. And that programming came back, right? So much of what happens in our childhood does come back to us for good, bad, somewhere in the middle. So, yeah, thank you. And good luck with it. All right. Anything?
Yeah, I was thinking this is a big one, emotional wellness. I have a few thoughts. One being that I think, again, our culture has not understood the importance of emotional wellness. And
Mm-mm.
in our drive to produce, succeed, we give away our emotional health just by, I mean, the long hours. I
Mhm.
think COVID really helped people see how much of their lives they were dedicating to their job, you know, and just how much it was taking from them. And I just think that, what was I going to say? Just that it's self-care is so important. It's become kind of a cliche and people
Mhm.
don't really think about it, but it is important to balance your emotional health, to do
Yeah.
things that are self-care for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that too. Okay, so thanks for journeying with me through SAMHSA's 8 dimensions of wellness. I invite you to continue the journey in whatever ways call to you, including working with more of the library programs. And remember that this is an ongoing journey. There is no finish line, but there are countless benefits to reap just for being on the journey. Also, this is a winding, meandering journey, and it is not at all about perfection, but about authentic intention and effort. The magic of life is not in convenience, it is in the work and not working stubbornly, doggedly, but working with kindness, grace, humor, and most importantly, in community. There are more wonderful River Falls Public Library winter wellness programs coming out. And thank you again. And here comes Tonya again.
Thank you, Tonya. Tonya will be back to speak again on the same subject matter on Saturday, January 14th at 10:30 a.m. That program is only in person. So don't try to tune in or tell a friend to tune in for it. If they want to watch it virtually, they can watch the recording of this on YouTube or our Facebook page. I want to thank the audience. We did have people watching online. Thank you for sticking with us and showing interest in this subject matter. I want to invite all of you again to participate in our Luminous game. It is developed based on the 8 dimensions of wellness that I learned from Tonya last spring when she presented here. I'm very excited about it. We have a bunch of programs coming up about mindful eating and financial wellness. We have some art programs to develop your social wellness and intellectual wellness. We have emotional wellness. We have Jessica Lee Peterson coming to speak about her new book, Thistles and Thorns. We have yoga, mindful cooking, Serenity Drum Circle. I mean, you name it. There's just a really long list of amazing programs that we have to offer this winter that if you go to those and want to play the game, you can get two tickets for each event that you attend. Let's see, what else can I tell you? The next adult program is Origami Art next Saturday. And that is a registration only program. You can call the library to register. It is next Saturday, January 7th from noon to 2. It's full. Okay, so I better jump on the next one, which is block printing art workshop. Is that one full? Almost full. So anyway, I'm really hoping that this program is a big hit this winter. Maybe we can do it again next winter if that's the case. Thank you, Tonya, for the inspiration for this program. And again, thank you everybody for coming tonight.